Just come on.
I'm here.
Oh man! All right. So what are we having to drink?
We are having a seltzer.
Seltzer. Lime? No lime?
Lime seltzer.
Lime?
Lime would be good. Yeah.
Sammy, can we hook it up?
Yes, sir.
Well, I was reading the story of when you designed the student newspaper,
Yeah.
University of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Had as the narrative is the drunken moment of inspiration around redoing the newspaper.
That it happened in a bar. I did.
Really?
Yeah. God, I mean, I don't know how you got all this.
Come on, I do my research. Come on, yeah.
Wow, you gone deep. Yeah. So we it was my friend Jimmy and I. We were in. It was Jimmy, really. Actually, he was his friend. So his friend was the editor. Was going to be the editor of the
Shout,
the student magazine, and we sort of found out about this, bumped into him in a bar, and we're just like, we'll do that. And I think he was like, okay, yeah, you do it, whatever, you know, because like design, even is this, you know, okay, yeah, whatever you do. And then that began a very, very contentious year of fighting and oppositional behaviour, and yeah, I learned a lot of my. I mean,
was the validation around that inspiring?
Yeah. It was just. I mean, I think it was a very foundational moment for me. But we got really drunk one night, and I changed one of the headlines of they'd just built a new library in the university, and for some unknown reason I changed the headline to yet more wasted money, which that's a fucking library. I mean, that's a good. It's like yet more wasted money. And I've completely forgot about it. No recollection of doing it. I mean, a sort of vague recollection of doing it, but like, no, it didn't even really cross my mind when we hit print.
Yeah.
And then, like a couple of weeks later, when we got back, we were gonna, you know, when we heard the magazine was in boxes and we were coming to, you know, we'd go and have a look at it. There was this kind of like weird sort of kerfuffle outside the student union, and like what's going on? Like, you know, they were taking these boxes and kind of, and then like, they were getting like whiteout fluid and kind of, you know, just this whole kind of, so they were having to like white out fluid.
All of the headlines.
Just that one headline, yet more wasted money. And so it's like a banal story really in a sense, but it just was like, oh God, this is power, right?
Yeah.
You can like this actually sort of like, you can kind of upset people. You can kind of like, you know, this is a sort of, you know, I quite liked it. You know, I mean, it was I quite liked that, and because me and Jimmy were always quite sort of oppositional anyway.
Yeah.
You know, we all kind of, you know.
You had a very long and storied career at The Guardian. Was that championed while you were there?
In some ways, yeah. I mean, it was so, you know, seeing somebody who had, and also the thing about The Guardian is, and everyone's so fucking smart, you know. Like, I wasn't really ever surrounded by. I mean, I had a great school, and, you know, but I don't know. There was something about being surrounded by incredibly articulate, incredibly smart people.
Yeah.
All of them went to like Oxford, Cambridge. You know, like they were just a step up from the kind of the, you know, it was a real lesson in kind of surrounding yourself with the brightest people. It's just you just so much rubs off on you, being kind of, you know, wanting to stir the pot, wanting to kind of to be provocative. That was a good, you know. So I think kind of in some ways that, I mean, I think I've always been a little bit. I've always enjoyed sort of, yeah. Just
what aspect of it, of being a troublemaker?
I think something I'm interested in the way that I can affect the space between my brain and yours. Do you know what I mean? I'm interested in the kind of the mutability of kind of placing an idea in your head. I think that's the thing that I still get off on. You know, is just the ability to. Maybe it's a little bit arrogant. I don't really, you know, sort of think it. You know, I think it's a little bit more kind of pure in my head.
Okay.
It's not. It's not total manipulation. Do you know what I mean? It's just the enjoyment of sharing that story.
Forcing an idea.
Yeah, or just kind of like being part of a kind of a moment where everybody laughs at something, or everybody sort of, you know, everyone kind of has a kind of collective experience around something.
Yeah. One of the reasons I really enjoyed going back and trying to learn about your work and the history of it is the through line of taking something in your head and using the brand as a vehicle to shift how we all might experience that brand through it has been a constant. Whether, you know, you can look to like the years at Business Week or at MTV, where these are existing businesses that are running and operating that were thought of a certain way, and you helped change that.
You know, maybe I'm a little bit brave, but I don't really. It's like I do care. I care very deeply about the things that I do.
Where
but I
does
also
the confidence come from around that?
Well,
the experiences you've had, the validation you've gotten.
Yeah, probably, and like, and just knowing that I've got. I think sort of having now. This is something kind of I've been sort of meditating on, if you like, for a year now. Is just sort of really seeing the value of the work that I've done. I mean, most of those projects had a difficult birth, but and some of them had a difficult life, and some of them, and it's just the nature of the beast, and so in kind of moments of difficulty or moments of personal doubt or whatever the kind of the negative emotion you want to kind of attach to it. You can trace a journey back and kind of often see a mirror of something that's happened in the past on some level.
I guess I have to ask, because we're working together through this rework of our word mark and our typography and our colors and what this brand means with you, what opportunity do you see in us? And I'm sure we're making a bunch of mistakes as a client or a business, and so how would you characterize either of those or both?
Well, I think that, to answer the second question first, I think you're making mistakes. Going through the process that we're going through is it sometimes is more fundamental. You're looking in the mirror in a way that you don't often have to look. You don't have to do this all the time. Do you know what I mean? And you're on a journey, and you've just got to understand that there are going to be bumps in the road and that we're going to have to navigate over them. Yeah. Sometimes those bumps can feel like mistakes, but they're not, at the time that they're being made, but actually they're just sort of, a body convulsing into life, and kind of just finding, and just like waking up to some of the possibilities. The journey starts at the kind of the what if, and the questions that, who are we, why are we, where do we need to be, why are we not doing well, what do we need to say better? And then, so that it starts different in a difficult space, and and then, bringing on kind of partners and bringing on, taking people on that journey, if you like, is the next challenge, and then the challenge after that is it goes public and everyone finds and everyone thinks they can see a dick in the logo.
I feel like through so much of your work, typography has been the backbone, or has been a center, if I can interpret, like, why typography specifically?
Well, because of words, typography is one way of thinking about it, but words the other.
In many ways, words are being commoditized by the acceleration of many of these modern tools out here. Does the
You're
wealth
talking specifically about like ChatGPT and
does the wealth of words now mean that it's critical to be more choice in the ones we choose? Does it mean that words are?
Well, there's
you fear words are less important?
Well, I'm really good friends with this guy called Dean Kissick, and Dean, he feels like art is over, images are. We've got too many images in the world. So I want to almost like make the counter argument here that actually what we're swimming too much in is images, and the interesting thing about words, kind of conceptually, aesthetically, somewhat, is that they create ideas in your head. You're not that it allows. There is a freedom in the construction of those ideas as they live in your head, which is a little bit more potentially kind of more interesting and less kind of explored.
Meaning it's almost nicer that images say more than words, because words allow for the imagination to play around.
There you go. That's a better way of saying it. Exactly. Yeah. It's just that if it just there is more kind of creative space there, I think.
If tomorrow you were sitting down with the lead graphic designer at the student newspaper at the University of Liverpool, and they were graduating in a month, and they're like, Richard, how do I become you? How do I have a storied career?
I would recommend you need to have a personality and a point of view that feels distinct and feels personal to you. Like you've got to kind of like generate momentum, your own kind of momentum. I think that's best done in your work and in personal projects. Again, my proxy for that is like a zine or a magazine or a book. It could be a kind of t-shirt brand. It could be a kind of you know what I mean. It's like it doesn't have to be particularly complicated, but having an environment that you can kind of play in and say that it's yours. Now I found that incredibly valuable in my career because people like that, like they're interested in the brand stuff I do, but they really
They
like
access you through that.
Yeah, they really like that. What gets the attention is well, attention is maybe the wrong word, but what they really like that stuff. Like that is that kind of. So I would say go back to that person who's doing the magazine and say, look, keep on doing this. You just what are you interested in? Just in trains. Do a kind of like a train magazine. I mean, it's like just do something that you have a natural interest in, which allows you to explore that thing. Hopefully, you'll get some sense of enjoyment through it.
Yeah.
Against it, it will be a pillow that you can scream into when like the horrible world of corporate design is like,
It's bad.
I'm really bad at.
I'm also 90% sure, Sammy. I think you put alcohol in my drink. I had like the third sip, and I was like, "Is there tequila in my drink?" I was like, "That's insane." I was like, "What?"